about probability versus possibility. And I'll use an example that I've been using for when I say Nigerian students ought to finish university. All right. And that's, everyone knows that's what I stand for till tomorrow. Or we can't say till tomorrow because we never know what might happen. The fact that made me come to this conclusion might change tomorrow. So, but for now, this is where I stand, that if you're a Nigerian student, do not drop out. Your life is going to be terribly, terribly hard. Of course, there will be exceptions to the rule, but it's very unlikely that you will be an exception. So it's best that you use the general rule in planning your life. Anyway, the term I'm taking out here is possibility versus probability, and this is something that keeps people stuck in poor thinking habit, right? So when we say when people say, and let me not just say people generally, because I'm talking to Nigerians here, not Americans. If you're an American, I might say you might not need college. If you're a Nigerian, is you I'm talking to, finish university is very important because of our realities here. So when people are arguing against university education, all right, one of the first things that they typically say is, I know one person that, or they might say, is it possible for you to succeed in life without university education? And they use possibility to base their decisions. That is poor thinking, very poor thinking. I'll explain why, but that is poor thinking. Using possibility to base your decisions is poor thinking. For example, is it possible for a university dropout to become a billionaire? I like using that example because it's mostly poor people that like to use such examples. Let's say succeed. Is it possible for a university dropout in Nigeria to succeed in the world? Well, what's the accurate answer to that question? Yes, of course. Yes, it's possible. And then they just see that yes, and they run with it. But that's not a smart way to think. It's not a smart way to run your life. Is it possible? Yes. But hold on. Smart people in the world, the affluent people of the world, the influential people of the world do not run their lives based on possibility, because possibility is the easiest question to answer, but it's not the most reliable. After establishing possibility, you have to move forward to probability. Now, probability is much tougher because it involves careful calculation. And that's why people that are weak in their thinking do not talk about probability. They will deceive you with possibility, because if maybe you have 1 million people, right, in a village, or let's say you have 1 million, those numbers are too huge. Let's say 1,000, okay? Let's say we have 1,000 dropouts, all right? And one person out of those 1,000 dropouts succeeds, like massive success. They have passed the test of possibility, but then it's just 1 out of 1,000. So probability says it's not just, is it possible? Probability asks, how probable is it? Okay, so you don't just say how possible is it. You don't just say, is it possible for a dropout to succeed? The answer will be yes, because even if the chance is 1 in 1 million, it is still yes for possibility. But when you now ask the next question, how probable is it? Oh, okay, how probable? Now that's a mathematical question, because we'll now have to go into history and look at all the dropouts and then all the successful dropouts, and then mark that mathematical figure in percentages. So we'll say if 1 out of 1,000 succeeded, we'll say we have a 0.1% probability. That will now help you say, oh wait, is it a wise idea for me to use a 0.1% probability to plan my life? Or 1 in 100? 1 in 100 is 1%. Is it a wise idea for me to use a 1% probability to plan my life, knowing that I can't turn back the hands of time? And that's why when you look at the most influential people, for example, politicians do not use possibility to run their campaigns. They use probability. If you watch CNN or Fox during presidential elections in the United States, you would see when they are drawing their graphs with their figures and their bar charts and their pie charts, and they'll say that this candidate has a X% chance of taking this state or of taking that state. They like being precise. They don't just ask the normal mass question of the masses. Oh, is it possible for this candidate to win this state? That's not a smart question, because it'll always be yes. Even if their chance is 1 in 1 million, it's always going to be yes. But they ask the mathematical or the statistical question of how probable is it? That's a tougher question. That question demands that you have to use statistics, historical data, and say, okay, out of this versus this, let's now do the percentages and let's know what chances they have. Okay, so when you are making critical decisions, do not use possibility. Possibility is a false indicator. It will make you feel smart in the moment, but it's going to wreck you. You have to move forward and ask, how probable is it? How probable is it? It's a very pregnant question. because it involves calculation. People that are weak in their thinking like to avoid that because it is hard. But that is the way to plan. It's not based on possibility, it's based on probability. Okay, I'll give you another example. When you look at a state, for example, and we say, okay, and again, one of the things I always yell about is, okay, if you are a creative, you know, you need to be situated in Lagos. And then poor thinking again would ask the question, but is it not possible for somebody to succeed as a techie in Ado Ekiti? That's not a smart question. It is possible, of course. Even if it is just one person out of a million that succeed, they have still passed the test of possibility. But you should go on and ask, because you are using this data to plan your life. It's very important because you cannot get your time back. Once you have decided, you have set yourself on a particular path that is going to take time. It has to see itself to completion. All right, so you've got to be careful. So is it possible for somebody in Ado Ekiti to succeed as a creative? Again, you have to define what your parameters of success are. Is it possible? Of course, the answer is going to be yes. But when you move forward to, is it, not is it, but how probable? Oh, now it's mathematical. Out of 1,000 techies in Ado Ekiti, how many have hit this particular bar of success? Everyone now gets quieter, because you might say that maybe there were 1 or 2 that succeeded. All right, and even the most critical thinkers do not just wait on that 1 or 2. They investigate those 1 or 2 and see what were the factors that, you know, enabled them to. Let's see, are those 2 people that succeeded, are they from the same family? Could it be that, you know, and they try to find what exactly, so that we can know whether to base our decision-making process on even this 2% probability. All right. So that is one thinking tool that's going to help a lot of you guys. Well, me myself as well. I'm not excluded from that, but I'm always talking about these things. And I see, and again, I don't like to just throw dogma at you. I like to give you those critical thinking skills so you can judge for yourself. Some things I might say to you may be right, they may be wrong. But if you can use these tools, you'll be able to understand what is true. All right? Okay, so that was possibility versus probability.